What's happening with Puffy? I know you're not really tapped in, but what
the last thing I saw was like a guy there. He was like, yo, he like pushed. He sounded like he sounded like me. I was like, yo, look. Did you see the video? For money. Bro, I'm not sure I can say that for money.
How much is this guy trying to get?
I don't know. Like, it's a simple suit situation, but it's like
20 mil. I can say it.
You still had the blackest face out. You still had the mimic his voice because he's like,
but his voice wasn't even that different.
And a little deeper. I was like, almost like, no, that's you, young buck.
Yo. I can't say that dudes are having sex with other dudes, bro. That might come for you.
You say sweet love, sweet love.
Yeah, I'm gonna say make sweet love.
That's young buck breaking right there.
Make sweet love.
There's rules to rap beef now, bro. Not in your day.
Well, I'm saying like, God, man, why is your homeboy so close to you when you come out of there? Look like you guys just made sweet love. I'm gonna say sweet love instead of anything that says.
To me, that's better because they're gonna try to make it something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was smart. Like I didn't think about that. I say things to the borderline, like, I'm like, oh my God, you're in trouble.
You?
Like, all the time. Because I just say.
Nah, but you got close when he offered to take you shopping.
Yeah, you see, Meek is in the same shirt. He's out there in the same shirt.
Holy
this is not Photoshop.
Shit.
This is really happening. I'm just saying to you. No, stop it. Look, you set that up. Look, you set that up. This dude, he's in the same shirt.
What do you mean he's in the same shirt?
Obviously was not offended by what I was offended by. This is what I'm saying, bro. Like you go, I'm like, nah, it was odd. Like, this is some of the things that people say, like girls, guys may say to a girl, like, let me take a shot. See?
Damn.
They found it that quick.
What do you think's happening in the middle?
I don't know what is going on.
Wow, they found Kendrick and Wifey.
You can't dress up Kendrick like that. Oh, you can't dress him up like that.
No, it's jokes.
That's like the White Chicks movie, bro. You can't do that.
Yeah, that was comedy. That was good.
Yeah, but that
get away with Wifey.
That's obviously doing chopping. They got the same outfit.
50 Cent has never been one to shy away from sharing his opinion, whether it's about music rivalries or personal controversies. In the entertainment world, 50 always keeps it raw and real, this time against Jay-Z, and his perspective has sparked plenty of conversation during a candid interview on Big Boy TV on December 9th. 2024 50 Cent not only addressed the lawsuit, but also shed light on how these situations affect families' credibility and his personal view of Jay-Z.
Yeah, that's a nice shirt. That's a nice shirt. All right, so when he said the shopping line, in real life, what did you say?
I said, let me get away from him. Because he was like, yo, you hot now. Now we gotta hang out now. Like, hang out.
Yeah.
He said, I don't know, man. I take you shopping and I get you some flash and you could give me the hood shit. And I was looking and I was like, let me just move away from him because I'm gonna mess up the wedding. I always say to myself, like,
it was someone's wedding?
It was Chris Lighty's wedding. He's in Miami. Nori's there. Nori knows this. And I looked at him like, yo. You heard what he just said, right? He's like, yo, certain things they let it go by because it's Puff. Like they would look, like he would say stuff, and it's like he wasn't like in the closet, he was like in the hallway.
Party. Fab was like, no, we partying tonight.
He's like, no, but he did party.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, they let that one go. Like, I had to say something about it later because I was like, oh, it was first.
What does it feel like all these years? You being the only one calling this out?
I look like I've been the crazy guy for a long time.
They said you're a hater. They said you're crazy.
You do this, yeah. And now everybody's complaining. My ass is hurting. Just all this shit that's coming.
50, you can't make jokes about it.
No.
The internet might come for you, bro.
All I'm saying
It
is,
might come from
you
you.
see it now. All of these complaints. People were damn, they were and pillaged. This was what was going on, right? And what do I get for the? I went through years of a hater. You're a hater. You want this and that. I'm just watching. Like, I look at things and go, when you see the new lawsuit coming with Jay, the part with Jay, I go, oh shoot, like. Then I think about it, I go, that had to be there. So when I was saying that he was missing, he just wasn't actively being out there because they was dealing with that.
Wait, do you think there's truth to the Jay thing? There's no way.
Know. Like that, look, you know, so, like if you say, I have this thing where I'm conflicted when it takes you 20 years to remember something happened to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I go, oh, so 10 years, 20 years later, it comes back. And it's like all of Puff's problems are coming from the ministers touching little boys.
What you mean?
The laws are the way they are because
Because
Because of the priests.
the priests touching little boys.
Why are we looking at me, bro?
Now let's break this down because it's layered, controversial, and frankly people can't stop talking about it on December 8th. 2024 Jay-Z real name Sean Carter shared a statement on Instagram and he addressed the allegations head-on, acknowledging the sensitive nature of the claims and their impact on his family. What stood out most was his mention of his daughter Blue Ivy Carter, who's now 12 years old. Jay-Z explained that his daughter is at an age where friends might hear these allegations read about them online and even ask her uncomfortable questions. This aspect of the statement clearly caught 50 Cent's attention.
That civil lawsuit filed against Combs in October was amended Sunday to include Jay-Z. At a Video Music Awards after party in 2000. In a blistering statement, Jay-Z accuses Jane Doe's attorney of trying to blackmail him. He said further, quote, "These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree?" He added, "My only heartbreak is for my family. My wife and I will have to sit our children down, one of whom is at the age where her friends will see the press and ask questions about the nature of these claims and explain the cruelty and greed of people." Joining us now, Joey Jackson, CNN legal analyst and criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor. There's a lot to unpack here. Joey, I want to start with just the statement from Jay-Z, which is so forceful in its denial. I just read a teeny part of it, it's long, where he says that they should file a criminal complaint. Is that even possible at this point?
So based on the allegations, Jessica, good morning, good to see you. I think that it certainly could be. Why do I say that? Now, he, of course, is more than annoyed, would be an understatement.
Yeah.
He has a family and he has a lot to protect, including his brand. But to the extent that he's saying, hey, come after me criminally, that could be likely. Why do I say that? What that means in English is that it's saying that he held her down, raped her, and that, of course, the allegation is that Mr. Combs did the same thing. And so if those facts are actually accurate, it would require an investigation by prosecutors. And if true, right, you could pursue it criminally. Now, with respect to evidentiary value, yes, it happened 24 years ago, right, more than 24 years ago. But in the allegations, there's a few things. Number one, there's allegation that another celebrity was present at the time, right, in addition to other people. Number two, there's the claim by the victim, right, that she left, that she went and she was seen by a gas attendant who saw her in distress. Number three, that she phone called her dad who showed up, the 13-year-old, and now removed her. So civil complaint, simply allegations, need to be proven in a court of law, but if true, it could rise to the level of criminality, and, you know, we'll see what happens or if the DA looks and investigates.
So what happens now?
So what happens now is this is simply a civil complaint, and in a civil complaint, it goes through the
50, being a father himself, made a strong point during his interview. He said, "I just hope things are all right for him internally. I mean, at the crib, by internally, he was talking about what's happening inside Jay-Z's home with B and Say and their kids. It's one thing to battle accusations in the court of public opinion, but another to navigate the ripple effect such allegations can have on one's family."
Now, the distinction, Jessica, between civil and criminal, of course, is that civil is for monetary damages, right? The system can only reward you with money. There's allegations that this 13-year-old is suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, suffered depression, etc. So now you go to fact-finding, right? Before that, just briefly, there was a demand letter sent. And a demand letter is a letter being sent by a lawyer saying, hey, I don't have to sue you. We can sit, we can mediate it. If we reach an agreement, it never sees the light of day. Jay-Z saying, I don't care about your demand letter. I look at it as blackmail. You want to sue me, sue me. You want to look at it criminally, look at it criminally, but it'll go through the fact-finding process. If a trial is necessary to determine the facts, that's what will happen, but it'll be deemed civil. No indication at this point as to whether or not any criminal investigation will ensue as a result of this.
Yeah, and Jay-Z came back incredibly forcefully against these allegations and really singled out that attorney as well for being, I'm paraphrasing here, but greedy, saying he's out to get money and calling that letter essentially blackmail.
Yeah, and in addition to that, Jessica, also suing the attorney, saying he's intimidating. Is they send them out as a matter of protocol and practice so that you can expedite the process. At the same time, there's certain ethical standards that you have to use, and you have to have a good faith factual belief that this is true. Now, you can argue this complaint was filed in October, right? Could have mentioned Jay-Z then. You didn't. Why? It was amended now to include him. Are the factual assertions true? Are they fact or fiction? Is it a money grab or not? All of that will be litigated in a court of law, but according to Jay-Z, this never happened. Is pure fiction. It is a money grab, and he's fighting for his name, reputation, and certainly innocence and justice in his view, which is he didn't have anything to do with it.
Yeah, and you touch on a point too that I wanted to ask you about, which was that this was an amendment to this already existing lawsuit. What are people to take away from that? The fact that they're coming back and adding to this now with this specific name.
Yeah, you know, Jessica, so it depends. That's also common. You could amend lawsuits, right, as a matter of course, and you do, to include certain factual allegations. The interesting thing to me in terms of your question and the takeaway, if you had this information about Jay-Z, it happened allegedly in September of 2000, why not include it in the original complaint? What happened between October and now that necessitated you putting in, and it's a question of credibility. Was he celebrity A, right, as was noted in the October complaint? Is this pure fiction? And what's interesting in the complaint is he really, that is the lawyer, tries to tie Jay-Z to Mr. Combs in so many ways, right? Birds of a feather is the argument that he's making. You can make that argument. You need the facts to sustain it. Let's see if they come up with any facts.
50 then continued referencing Blue Ivy's age, saying she about 13, so it's the same age as these kids. They saying he did something to, here's the thing, whether people agree with 50 Cent or not, he has a knack for pointing out the uncomfortable truths most people avoid talking about. He's not accusing Jay-Z, nor is he dismissing the allegations. Instead, he's focusing on the real-life impact on Jay-Z's family and how these claims will follow them, regardless of the lawsuit's outcome.
Wasn't in the ad,
Right.
Because of look, Jay-Z and them was putting it together.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they still harbor some energy towards me.
You think you were purposely left out of the ad?
No,
Oh, okay.
I don't think. I think that they were saying the NFL had some issues with me that I don't know what those issues are. Like, what is the issue? You see what I'm saying? Like, and I with M, because like with Nori was.
The big homie Jay-Z, right? And I told him to come pull up on me. And he pulled up on me and he said, the white guy called for 50 Cent. So I said, who's the white guy? I'm digging this Jimmy Iovine. And he said, no, Eminem called directly.
That's his guy.
He said, I can't do it if I can't break 50 up.
But that's his God.
Right? And I'm like, that's when I start saying crazy stuff, because I look and I go, oh, that's your big homie, right? And so he imaged himself after a gay painter.
Okay.
Big homie want to look like a gay painter.
What are we talking about here?
We're talking about Basquiat. He wants to look like a gay painter.
Oh my God, I think I know where we're going with
So
this.
now look, what I'm saying to you is, look, when you start looking at, that's not mine, that's theirs, their heartbreak, right? But when you look at, M is looking at the entire legacy.
Yeah.
The whole thing, like with M, Dre, and myself.
The accusations themselves are heavy and disturbing according to reports, including one from NBC News on December 10th. 2024, the lawsuit was refiled in New York's Southern District Federal Court. An anonymous plaintiff, known only as Jane Doe, accuses Jay-Z and Diddy of paying her after the MTV Video Music Awards in Manhattan in 2001.
Rapper Jay-Z is denying an allegation that he and Sean year-old girl.
Yeah, an anonymous accuser identified only as Jane Doe made the accusation in a civil lawsuit on Sunday. Back in 2000, in a statement to NBC News, Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter, called the accusation idiotic, adding, quote, "These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever should commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree?" Attorneys representing Combs also dismissed the lawsuit, calling it a shameless publicity stunt. Combs is
about what accusations the accuser is making here that happened back in 2000, and just typically how a case like this then would play out in a civil court proceeding.
According to the amended complaint, and when I file amended complaints, it's because new information has come up, maybe there are new defendants and new claims, and that's sort of what's happening here, but I'll explain the difference. This amended complaint alleges that this 13-year-old plaintiff, when she was 13, wanted to go to the VMA Awards, couldn't get in. A limo driver says, "Come on in, and I'm paraphrasing, "you look like you're Diddy's type," or something like that. Now, there isn't really a new defendant in Jay-Z. What the complaint alleges is that somebody that they had originally referred to as, say, Celebrity A, now they're naming.
Here's where the details get unsettling. Jane Doe claims she was outside the awards venue trying to get into the event or an after party, but didn't have a ticket. A limousine driver allegedly working for Diddy told her she fit what Diddy was looking for. This phrase alone raises so many questions about the culture of power and exploitation in the industry back then, and maybe even now's.
Jay-Z. And so they allege that Jay-Z and Combs were involved. Then 13-year-old plaintiff. So Jay-Z was technically already in the complaint. He just wasn't identified.
walk us through that point that was in Jay-Z's statement there about changing the type of lawsuit here, civil versus criminal.
So Jay-Z essentially is saying, hey, if you're going to bring this case, this sounds like a criminal complaint. I dare you basically to go file a criminal complaint. And what's interesting, too, is that according to the complaint, the plaintiffs explained the reason that they decided to name Jay-Z was allegedly Jay-Z had pushed back on the filing of this complaint. So it's almost like a kind of, hey, if you're going to push us, we're going to name you in this complaint instead of just saying that you're Celebrity A. That's a little bit problematic because if he wasn't a party originally, if he was just Celebrity A, and now the only difference is because Jay-Z pushed back, it raises a question as to what exactly Jay-Z did as a party, but that will all be worked out in discovery.
And talk about what does happen next then with all this.
Well, when you file a civil complaint in federal court, the next steps are very clearly laid out in procedure, but they're not that exciting. The court will get together, the parties get together, they figure out a discovery plan, and then months out, the parties start exchanging discovery, paperwork, documents, and then months beyond that, they start having depositions. But in the civil complaint context, the opening salvo is the filing of the pleading. And then after that, it's mostly quiet until we get to depositions, which are usually not in the public. And then years from now, in federal court, maybe a year and a half, then you get to.
The lawsuit alleges that Jane Deal was taken to an after-party, handed a drink that made her feel woozy, and then led to a private room, which she describes next as chilling. She claims Jay-Z entered the room with Diddy, and an unnamed female celebrity, Jane Doe, says Jay-Z proceeded to remove her clothing while Diddy and the celebrity watched.
Explained, but I want to get to the Jay-Z of it all, because as this lawsuit's coming in from Spiro, fighting back, demanding that the Jane Doe be named, all this stuff, more and more coming out. Now there's rumors of a criminal complaint might actually be sent as well. I sort of just want to pull back though and talk about just this again, because it's a big deal for you, Jaguar. Not a lot of people were out there sort of calling out Jay-Z. You literally were on Piers Morgan calling Jay-Z out, and Alex Spiro got Piers to cut it from the damn show. And now we're coming around full circle. And I guess I want to ask again, have Pierce's producers come back around asking to sort of right the wrong? Do you think they will? And would you go back on?
If we get to the point where we can agree, I will be doing an in-studio interview with Pierce. If
in London,
we should go
you get
that
to go.
way.
Cheerio, out to London.
Yeah. Well, I have family business to take care of out there, and I got a lot of stuff to do, so might as well get it all done at one shot.
But he is open, so there is a conversation to sort of right that wrong.
Well, I don't know how open they are yet, because I kind of reminded them about a few legal realities. The second that he issued that apology and did that retraction, it hurt my credibility.
Yeah.
I lost 5 interviews, and I was stalked online for almost a month. I have at least 500 thumbnails of people calling me a liar, saying that I embarrassed myself on Piers Morgan, I'm not credible, don't hire her. I lost work. I actually lost about $100,000 in projects. Yeah. You know, it's called tortious interference. When you intentionally go out of your way to destroy someone's credibility or annoy the people that they're doing business with so that they cannot earn a gainful employment or living. It's against the law. That's exactly what Alex Spiro did when he called Piers Morgan, knowing that his client was about to be fingered for graping a minor with Diddy.
Well, it's true, but it's important. I want to stress that, because exactly he was trying
to understand that,
you.
Alex. You made a phone call when you knew your client was under investigation for essay of a minor with a monster that just so happens to be his best friend. And from testimony that came from Robert Kelly, also your lover.
Wait, allegedly. Hold on, wait. Who's Alex Spiro's R. Kelly's lover now?
No. Jay-Z.
It's a disturbing accusation, and naturally the story explodes in the media. The allegations against powerful figures like Jay-Z and Diddy are not only shocking, but have caused people to revisit the darker side of the entertainment industry. Stories of exploitation manipulation often get buried under glitz and glamour.
We're with R. Kelly, you're now alleging?
No, R. Kelly said that they all had interactions. That was a part of the club.
Right, but to get back to the Spiro of it, you, again, allegedly, I don't want Alex coming after me. Alex,
I know, but
Alex, you're saying Alex knew this lawsuit was coming, the Jane Doe, all of it, as he was out there canceling you with Pierce, which is pretty awful.
That's called tortious interference. It cost me a hit to my reputation. It cost me money. Who's gonna make me whole for that?
Right.
I said it very clearly that the Carters are bad people. They're nasty people, and they do nasty things. Wouldn't what he's being charged with now fall in line with that? I mean, I could have dropped the whistle right there and said, you know you're the one in that lawsuit. I could have went hard. I didn't. Y'all knew, just like I knew, that Sean Carter was going to be named. And you tried to pretend. So why don't we get to why you were trying to pretend like you didn't know your client already gotten a demand letter?
Well, that's why I was just doing that, because the show happened at end of September. But yeah, he would have had the demand letter by that point.
It was October, yeah. And it was also just a few weeks before the election that he and his wife were backing the wrong candidate for. You know, it would have been really nice if Kamala could have won for a lot of people. Unfortunately, it only worked out for Jussie Smollett.
It did, didn't it?
Yeah, I guess that's the only person she gets to pardon. Her nephew, who tried to set up a private meeting with me right before the election, who wanted to meet me in person and wanted me to use a specific app, and then ghosted me when I didn't use it. They're not clever. They're persistent, but they're not clever. Nobody's seeing what's going on.
No, I see it. I see what's going on. But I guess my question is, why isn't there a criminal complaint? So he makes that argument, and now Tony Busby's coming out and saying, well, don't rule it out. It is coming. What is your perspective on this? Now, granted, the state prosecutor, everyone would have to actually file those charges, but...
My perspective, I think Tony Busby is smart. And I think the feds are very well aware of what he has. And I wouldn't be surprised if the federal authorities have informed him, because of the dangerous nature and the habits of these very predatory people, to keep everyone's identity secret as long as...
Now back to 50 Cent during the interview. He made it clear that his relationship with Jay-Z isn't about personal animosity. He said it's just being competitive, referring to their long-standing rivalry in hip-hop. For years, fans have speculated about tension between the two rap moguls, but 50 brushed it off, saying their dynamic is rooted in competition, not real beef.